Greetings, friends. Reformed Stoic, back with another video. So this one built up in my head for a while. I probably should have recorded it like 4 days ago or so. But I got to this point where just temporarily I wasn't really in the place of mind that I'm kind of describing in this video. But I'm getting back there. I'm close enough. So let's start from here. I have read through this book. Very nice looking book. It's Hermetic Initiation into Martinism. A guy on YouTube, Richard Ruock, made a video about this that just kind of popped up in my feed, and I thought, you know what? I'm sold. That book sounds very interesting to me. So this is from a Martinist lodge in the Czech Republic, and this was material for a small group of Martinists to be initiated into the first 2 degrees. And this book gave me an epiphany. So I'm not going to really go over that much of what's in the book. It has 2 degrees, and the first degree was amazing. It wasn't really like a cult. It was just great advice for anybody who's a Christian, I would say. It's like the most brilliant summary of like a mystical way of being that I feel like I've ever read. A lot of it was like stuff that I've heard before, but it kind of just like tweaked it a little bit and put it all in one place. But the epiphany that this book gave me is I thought that this book was going to be filled with like meditation exercises, and it wasn't. It actually didn't have any of them. The whole first degree is just describing a way of being. The path to reaching the first degree of initiation is all just about your mindset, how you carry yourself, how you handle things. So then there's the title of this video. I was thinking about making a video like my perspective on initiation, or talking about initiation. I just dropped that little anime thing to the Mr. Kitty song. But then the topic of bait came up on X. I went on that little rant, or that little spiel, where I quoted a bunch of stuff and talked about how it's bait and how everybody's getting baited. So I decided to title this Stop Taking the Bait, or Life is Bait, or Everything is Bait, something along those lines. But it's the same video. The way of initiation. So when you hear initiation, maybe you think like getting initiated into Freemasonry or some sort of a cult or a cult group or esoteric order, secret society. And that could be part of it, and it could be related to the other definition of just initiation. There's getting initiated, and then there's initiation. So initiation, I would define it as like the truth, like the only initiation that matters. Are you initiated or aren't you? It's the initiation into just understanding. The understanding. I would say that there's not, for this perspective I have here, there's not multiple kinds of initiation. There's just the initiation into the truth. And I think that the first degree of this book, Hermetic Initiation into Martinism, really blew it out of the water. And like I said, I was going into this thinking, oh, it's going to have some sort of a meditation, like imagine a white light going through your body or something like that. But when I got through the entire first degree, and it was just describing ways that you carry yourself, it's kind of a shame that this book is like not available for download or something. It's kind of expensive. It's not very long. The second degree is good as well, but I actually think I'm going to record my own personal audiobook for the first degree of this so I can just kind of listen to it. It's very rereadable. So if you do decide to buy this, you know, it's like $60-70. You can get it on Hermetic or checkhermetics.com or something. It's easy enough to find if you Google it. But yeah, anyway, this video's built up in my head for a long time. I'm stumbling a little bit, but it's difficult to explain. And this idea of not taking the bait and life is bait and everything is bait, I think it really goes hand in hand with what's being described in this first degree. And it's not something that a lot of people in specific mindsets are ready to hear or want to hear, because it's going to be that kind of like, oh, you know, that's weak and you want to get trampled by your enemies and, you know, you're turning the other cheek. And a lot of people are going in a very different direction right now. A lot of people are, in my opinion, taking the bait. It's like, but it's not taking the bait. It's fighting for what you believe in, what you stand for. And I can understand that. If you have a family, if you actually have like friends, if you actually have something to stand for. I don't have anything to stand for. None of it is my battle. I don't have like a bunch of like white friends or something. It's like, oh, I gotta defend my white people, because there's nobody in my life, dude. There's nothing to defend. Whatever battle is coming isn't mine. And some of the stuff that's described in this first degree is you can't be in conflicts with people. You can't have like back and forth rivalries. So if somebody is trying to cause problems with you, which for me, you know, ever since I got into this drama online back in 2020 for like 5 years on and off, heavily consistent for like, you know, basically around until I moved or so. There's all kinds of people that want to cause problems with me. There's all kinds of people that want to leave negative comments and insult me and try to get a back and forth going. And what I learned over time is you don't do it. They can say whatever they want. I would just block them. And then they come back and they're like, oh, dude, you block anybody you disagree with. And then you block them too. And then, you know, it gets to a point where they're just going to keep making new accounts and I'm just going to keep blocking them. And the way that the energy flows at that point is, you know, I go click, block, and they go make another account, type up another comment, and I go click, block. So for every like minute and a half or 5 minutes that they're putting energy into, I'm putting 3 seconds. They're losing. It's a lose-lose for them, where the only way that they can possibly get on my level is to back away and move on. And I feel like I was held by the hand by life and shown how to be that way. Like when you got a lot of people trying to have a conflict with you, the path of least resistance is to just ignore them. And when it comes to the internet, block them and ban them. Now, I do like to have discussions. If somebody wants to discuss ideas, if somebody has a disagreement with me, I think everybody understands the difference. You know, if I present an idea and somebody makes arguments against that idea, I've made it very clear. I enjoy debate. I enjoy having discussions. But there's a difference between a discussion, oh, you're short and you're bald and you're going to die alone. Like, and, you know, I think it's bots. I think like the cybernetics agency or bot farms or whatever. I've stumbled across some strange things on the internet. There's some sort of like AI bot farms or shills who are like paid to do this. And so when it comes to that, let's just humor that. So let's assume that there are people who are paid to do it, or it is bots. Well, then you're really an idiot for responding. Imagine an AI that was fed some details about you, is like, you're bald and you're stupid, you're gonna die alone. And then I type up a big response, and then poof, and then the AI spits out another response. So then the AI is just putting zero effort into it because there's no human sentience behind it, and I'm getting all worked up, and I'm taking the bait from this AI. So that's like great reasoning for why I should not entertain these people, because they might not even be people. And then, the step below that is they are people, but they're being paid to do what they do. It's like, okay, well, I'm literally like making it impossible for you to do your job. And then, okay, so they're not getting paid, and it's not AI, and it's a real person who's actually taking time out of their day to try to piss me off. Well, it's not working. So, I tried to like not cover that kind of stuff in a video for a long time, because it's like, oh, he's thinking about us and he's angry, but it's very relevant to this video. I think having so many people against me for such a long time, people like dedicating so much time and energy trying to cause me harm, has guided me toward initiation. And then also reading this book has guided me toward initiation. But again, the epiphany was like, okay, what kind of meditations do I do? And I visualize the white light, or I visualize that, and I visualize that. And it's like, the way to initiation, like, yeah, by all means, meditate. And, if you want to visualize a white light, then just do it. You don't need to buy like a $70 hardcover book to tell you to visualize a white light. Like, I did a yoga session last night. I just typed like yoga for anxiety into YouTube, and then something pops up. That happens for like anything. Qigong for anxiety, Qigong for sleep. It's going to pop up on YouTube. There's all kinds of channels. So just do that kind of stuff, and, find the kind of meditations that you like. Something this book talks about is there's like, when you put all of your focus on an object, you temporarily remove the knowledge of yourself. So that's a kind of meditation. Here's my little MP3 player. If I wanted to, I could just like stare at this for half an hour and then just maintain my focus on that. So that will like help remove the knowledge of yourself. And then when you close your eyes and meditate and only focus on the self, and you could do like self-inquiry, you could either do like void meditation or self-inquiry. I think focusing on the self, like what this book is talking about, would be like a self-inquiry. That, it says, is what gives you the truth about everything. And ultimately, the path of initiation, part of it, is knowledge of self. You hear that in the occult a lot. So then there's when you focus on an object and you focus on yourself at the same time, you gain the truth of the object. That's one of the things that was in there. But the path to initiation is how you live your life. Okay, so let's move past that now. I knew I was going to have to fumble around in the dark through this video a little bit. That's why I kept putting it off, but we're doing it. It's happening. So part of it is you don't have, technically, if somebody is dead set on being your enemy, which I have that experience now. There are people that are dead set on being my enemy, even though I've been ignoring them for years. You don't give them any energy. You just completely, there's no debates, there's no discussions, there's no back and forth. Anytime they try to get in your space online, you just remove them. It would be different if it was in person, but I've dealt with some of that as well. And this kind of in-person thing that I dealt with was like, people wanted me to know that they're there for me, but they're not going to do anything. They want me to do something. They're not going to walk up to me and attack me. They want me to walk up to them and attack them. They want me to do something. So they just get in my space in a way, and they're not like so in my space that other people can see that they're in my space. I think people know what I'm talking about. When people are just trying to like be near enough to me and give me a little sign that they're there for me, because again, they want my attention. I've learned a lot about the power of attention through all this. And then, this book, and then other avenues that I'm seeking for initiation. One time, way back in my, near the end of my occult days, I was turned on to this group of people online, and I found this guy, going on a rant on a boat, and he talked really fast, and, he sounded like he was high IQ, I guess, and he was just going on this really intense rant about the importance of attention, implying that attention is everything. See, this is how I think some of this occult knowledge works. It's there. And ideally it's like, well, this is the stuff you learn in secret societies, and this is the heavily guarded knowledge, but it's carelessly tossed all over the place. And, I could say it right now, and you might have no idea what it means. It's not so much that some of these secret societies are like hoarding the knowledge from other people. It's just that the only way you'll be able to hear this stuff and understand it is through a very careful kind of an initiation process. But, this is the Hermetic initiation. This is kind of like a self-system of how you can just live your life, to figure it out on your own. But, some of these like big truths that are kind of just thrown all over the place is like knowledge of self and your attention. And then there's all these kind of like offshoots that are based off of esoteric occult knowledge that create things like The Secret. So The Secret, the law of attraction, I got my dream board, I imagined myself in a mansion, act like you already have it and then you have it. I have a mansion, I have a beautiful girlfriend, I drive a Jaguar, like I have all these things, here's my dream board, here's all my favorite stuff, I'm manifesting it into reality. I think that that's not really real. And I think that's not really the best way to use your time. It's much better to just pray for things that you want. But The Secret is based off of attention. Where you put your attention, where you put your focus. They'll say, don't focus on what you don't have. Focus on what you do have, or focus on what you want to have. Believe that you have what you want. And what Jesus said in the Gospels is, when you pray, believe that your prayers will be answered, and they will be. But giving you the correct view of attention is like, it's a combination of, I would say, kind of the stereotypical Stoic wisdom of only focus on things that you can control. So it's this combined knowledge of attention is everything. Where you put your attention is everything, but then also the things that you can control. I can't really necessarily control if I get to drive a Lamborghini or if I'm going to have a beautiful girlfriend or a mansion. But what I can control is not taking the bait. Ultimately, functionally, it's really easy to stop taking the bait. It's kind of in the ballpark of like a no-fap kind of a thing, or fasting. And by the way, the second degree is basically just like introduces semen retention and just like controlling your sexuality. So what I kind of get from that is you can start here. If you're like me and no-fap is very difficult for you, you can start doing all these other things first. There's all kinds of ways that you can start walking this path. And like as a Christian, I've been pushing for a long time doing what Jesus says, that Jesus taught the truth, but then there's this element of understanding what Jesus taught. I think for a lot of Christians, it's just an element of just doing what Jesus says, and this is where I think sometimes other parts of the Bible get in the way. Like I've said, 3 voices, Old Testament, Jesus, and Paul. And I'm just merely suggesting, why don't you just do a little exercise for a month straight? Just pretend the Old Testament and Paul don't exist, and only do what Jesus says. And when something Jesus says is hard, and you're looking for other context, just pretend it's not there. And just do what Jesus, and try to figure out what Jesus is saying. Now this is kind of getting to this idea of that it's not that you should accept Jesus as your Lord and Savior, it's that you need to understand Jesus. So your salvation would come through knowledge and understanding, which would be gnosis, which is like, that would be Gnosticism. There's a lot of different ways that people interpret Gnosticism. Sometimes when you hear Gnostic, you think demiurge and, like the hell realm or whatever. But then also, when you hear Gnostic, you could think gnosis, knowledge, salvation through knowledge. So Catholics and Orthodox say salvation through works and through faith. Protestants say salvation by faith alone. And then the Gnostics would say salvation by knowledge. Now, a lot of Gnostics are completely all over the place. I don't think that Gnosticism in itself is like a good path toward initiation. Because I go to Gnostic groups and they're completely all over the place. And I found a lot of different Gnostics who don't even like Jesus at all and have anti-Jesus teachings. And you got to watch out for those people because they're pushing the op, bro. Like, Jesus is part of Gnosticism for sure. But it's just, I feel like it's this little tweak between, accepting Jesus, doing what Jesus said, and it's like, it's still doing what Jesus said, so it would be like a salvation by works, but then it's like, in order to do what Jesus said, you have to understand what he said. No, Gnostic heresy. But, everybody thinks they understand what Jesus said, and I guess the Gnostic perspective would be that maybe it's a little bit more difficult to understand what Jesus said, and that not everybody understands. Okay, so spent a little bit too much time talking about that. I'm trying to get somewhere here. I'm trying to get us somewhere good. So it's been established that your attention is important. I was talking about The Secret, and it's like, no, putting your attention on believing that you have a mansion and a beautiful girlfriend isn't necessarily going to get you there. It's more what you don't put your attention on. It's like, not so much that you should park your attention on, I have a mansion, I have a mansion, I have a mansion. It's like, well, let's not park our attention in going on X and getting really mad at everything. And this is what I've been saying on X, how everything is bait. Like, and I made this tweet that was like, I don't know if it's the Archons, or if it's the Demiurge, or if it's just like the secret society technocrat string pullers who are doing this. Somebody wants you to be pissed off all the time. And I have a lot of interesting overlaps with things that Sam Hyde taught in some of his early videos. He talked about rage porn, where it's just like, you open up X, and there's a clip of like a black guy throwing a scene with the police, and then you're supposed to react to it. And they have an idea of the kind of reaction you're going to get. And it kind of seems like we're living in this time of right-wing outrage. The right wing is just so outraged. And this whole Jimmy Kimmel thing, bro, I had the there's got to be some sort of a SpongeBob facial expression. There's so many great facial expressions in SpongeBob. Just some, maybe it wasn't in SpongeBob, but I had this facial expression when Jimmy Kimmel got fired. I had this facial expression when he got his job back. Like, the whole thing took place over like 4 days. So, yeah, Jimmy Kimmel got fired. That's what you get. That's what you get, Jimmy Kimmel. Meanwhile, me, that's what you get, Jimmy Kimmel. Oh, yeah, you'll show you. Oh, Jimmy Kimmel got his job back. He didn't apologize. The first thing he did when he got his... He didn't apologize. This is an outrage. It's on. It's fully on. And I mocked this guy, dude. I roasted this guy who posted that tweet. He's like, oh, this is it. It's game on, man. Jimmy Kimmel, the first speech he gave when he got his job back, he didn't apologize. It's fully on, man. It's fully game on. And I was like, okay, dude, have fun with the game. I'm not going. Like, the whole time. Jimmy Kimmel got fired. Jimmy Kimmel got his job back. Like, yeah, he got fired. No, like, dude, right-wingers are just, man. It's like there's this little button that the elite can press to just play with right-wingers' emotions. It's like, oh, yeah, Jimmy Kimmel lost his job. What a bunch of idiots. No, Jimmy Kimmel got his job back. They didn't apologize about Charlie Kirk. I can't believe that somebody said that about Charlie Kirk. This is an outrage. Like, dude, you can't let people control your emotions like that. And it's so fucking easy. And it's just occurred to me on X. It's like, bro, every single tweet. How did my algorithm become this? And it wants to lull you into sleep. And we'll get to the next part, but a hint of the next part is like, something wants you to be outraged all the time, And then something doesn't want you to wake up. Something doesn't want you to get initiated. But I want this video to be as organized. I don't do scripts here, guys. I don't do scripts. When I prepare for a video, I just live my life and I quietly like have an idea of how this is all going to go in my head. But yeah, man, like you just need to stop taking the bait. It occurred to me, yeah, the algorithm at some point while my channel was growing, it was showing me things that were related to what I liked, and then the people I followed popped up on my feed. But once I got a certain amount of engagement, once my profile got to a certain level, which isn't very high, it was a lot higher when I posted all the time, because that's how the algorithm works. You have to tweet all the time. And there's times when like I grinded every day, and you have to slowly build it up, and then eventually it gets to a point where it's like the algorithm is hot for you, and I have a confidence in like, okay, 1 out of like 10 of my tweets on a bad day, or 5 out of 10 tweets on a good day are going to get pretty good views and responses and comments. I was on fire for a while. But as soon as you back away, as soon as you live a life outside of X, it punishes you. The algorithm punishes you for not constantly feeding it your time and energy. But at some point, there was this shift in my feed where it just started showing me a bunch of random fucking tweets. It doesn't even reflect the people that I follow. And it's like the algorithm just is like, okay, this is a right-winger. This is a right-winger who follows grifters and responds to trends. It's time to plug him into the rage matrix. And then everything that pops up is kind of like right-wing flavored rage. It's like, oh, look, a black guy struggling while he gets arrested. Oh, look, a Black Lives Matter protest. Oh, somebody getting beat up by a migrant gang. Oh, you know, something going on a college campus where guys in MAGA hats are debating. And it's disturbing to think about these fucking right-wing normies who are like, hey, I can't, and that's just it. And you're plugged into the rage matrix. And then people are like, dude, you're giving up though. You're not fighting back. What you gotta understand is responding to any of this shit is not changing anything. And it's actually pathetic to see how the right wing is just not capable of doing anything, man. You're completely locked in the rage matrix. And then, you know, this is the part where you could potentially say something really radical. It's like, fucking do something other than just fucking crying and whining online. It's not what I'm saying, but what I'm saying is like, you're like, oh, we're gonna do something, but first we gotta like, you know, take part in these really important discussions, and it's really important that I share all this stuff on my feed because I'm making people aware, and people need to hear my thoughts about this, and like you're trying to justify just fucking dumping all your attention, and I'm not mad. You are mad, and you're not changing anything, and then these like bots or troll farms or people who are probably paid to do this shit, because I've been observing that. I'm like, who are these people that are mocking people who respond to this stuff? Bro, it's a fucking loosh farm matrix. X is the most unbelievably... I have no words. X is slavery, dude. X is mental slavery. And I'm not trying to say that right-wingers aren't, you know, better than the left or whatever, but it's been very difficult for me to articulate ever since Charlie Kirk got shot, man. Something happened. The moment that bullet hit his head, boom, we were pushed into a different timeline. Like, the game has changed. A lot of fucked up things have happened for a long time. But the amount of focus that's been put on that, this is a whole new level, bro. Like, this is what life is now, is everybody just talks about Charlie Kirk all the time. Everything's about him all the time. And all a left-winger has to fucking do is just say something bad about Charlie Kirk. And they have your emotions on a fucking string. When I was a little kid, this is a funny story from my childhood. The gamer guy I told you about who had all the crazy games, he could easily be a gamer YouTuber. He was a very bizarre young kid. I was like 4 and he was 5, really little kids. And he's like, oh, well, I'm not disgusted by boogers anymore. Because he would tell you what he's disgusted by, and then I would, like, say it to hurt his feelings and make him cry. He's like, I'm not disgusted by boogers anymore. Now I'm disgusted by trails of blood. And I just sit there for a second and be like, trails of blood. Mom! He said the thing I told him not to say. Like, yeah, it's horrible. But it's an outrage what the left is saying. It's like, it is, but they're just making fun of you because you're an emotional little fucking girl at this point. Like, the right wing is just like, he said that about Charlie Kirk. He had a family. It's like, yeah, but it's been a fucking month, dude. And, like, I thought you were a man. And it's just like, some sort of a spell has been casted on right-wingers with their little fucking wussy girls who will never fucking do anything in the real world. And they'll just cry. He said that! And he said that! You're not supposed to do that! You're not supposed to talk to cops like that! Mommy! Like, holy fuck, dude. I can't do it anymore. There's a spell has been cast. And then, like, TikTok said that the rapture was going to happen. Dude, obviously that originated from Satanists or anti-Christians. It's satanic. Like, satanic humiliation ritual, loosh feeding shit is happening, dude, at a very fucking high level. And yeah, people are like, oh, Reformed Stoics becoming an occultist now or whatever. And it's like, bro, regular Christianity is like a puppet, and the establishment has put its hand up its ass through fucking TikTok and normies, and this is it. This is the straight and narrow path versus the wide path to damnation. There's too many people in church, dude. There's billions of Christians, and anytime there's billions of anything or millions of anything, it's fucking normies, dude. And yeah, there's like some enlightened people within the church, but they're like, what we need to do right now is everybody's like, oh, the rapture's happening. I know that the rapture's not happening. I can't believe you said that about Charlie Kirk. These people are Satanists. This is an outrage. And like, it's too many people, dude. I'm being like shown this like initiation path because I've walked alone for such a long time, and I've been pushed to figure something out. I feel like God has been revealing something to me through the events that have taken place in my life. But yeah, like this whole like the rapture's happening is like a satanic inorganic thing that's designed to like fucking crash millions and millions of evangelical Christians into a wall and then make them look like fucking idiots, and then everybody mocks them. It's like, and this is how it's always been. Evangelical Christians have always been the fucking useful idiots, bro. The thing that made me an atheist when I was in 4th and 5th grade, middle school, was that documentary Jesus Camp, where the evangelical Westminster Borough, whatever the fuck it's called, Westboro Baptist Church people, they worship the cutouts of George Bush, and they talk about how evil Harry Potter is, and that's what made me an atheist, dude, is evangelical Christians. Like, it's by design, bro. They're the golems. They're the fucking golems that the state can just, control them and make them fuck up. And then the same people that orchestrated it all are like, oh, look how stupid Christians are, everybody. Never been a better time to be an atheist. It's really hard to put into words, bro. It's very difficult to articulate. It's absolutely mind-shattering how fucking insane this life is, dude. Like, how fucking insane it's all been. So I guess we can get to the next part now. Of course, this video is taking a long time to get through. So you start walking this path of initiation, which I haven't even given that many bullet points. Your attention is everything. Start by withdrawing your attention. That's what this book says, is like basically just emptying your mind of all things. It's like removing what's in you to make room for God. And obviously, when you go down this like Hermeticism, occult path, you don't really think of God like a bearded guy in the sky, like basically Yahweh in the Old Testament. It's just like this all-present energy. I don't know. I have no idea how to describe what God is. It's just you clear yourself of things because most of the things that are in you are bullshit. So I like just sitting in a chair and staring at the trees. That's something that I've been doing lately. Not for like super long periods of time, but half an hour, work it up to an hour maybe, because that period of time, I'm not taking rage bait on X. I'm not doing something stupid. If I'm doing that, at least I know that I'm not doing something stupid. And the idea is to kind of like fill your life up with like yoga, qigong, staring into the trees, different kinds of meditation, reading. It gets to a point where it's like, okay, these are a lot of things that aren't stupid. So before you think about like what you should put your attention on, and then that's the 3 exercises. There's the attention on something else to temporarily forget yourself, which is great. Trying to simulate like forgetting your life and who you are. That's very in line with like the Advaita Vedanta, just kind of like, who am I? What am I? Forgetting about that there is a you for a while. So a really good way to achieve that is to stare at an object. Then there's the self-inquiry, putting your attention to yourself. Ultimately, knowledge of self is the highest knowledge, because when you have the knowledge of self, that brings up the third point. When you look at something while you think about yourself, that's the self-remembering, and that's how you gain the truth of the object. It's related to solipsism. I hear a lot of Christians talk very lowly of solipsism. I believe in the existence of other minds. I believe in the existence of other people. It's like there's the solipsistic reality, and then there's everything else. And you need to consider and understand both. Like when it comes to the knowledge of self, it's this idea that all you know is your attention. And everything in your life and who you are and what you do stems from your attention. So your attention is very important. It's everything. The only bullet points I've come up with is your attention is everything, and then the knowledge of self. And then there's the emptying of the self. And just removing things that you thought you were about. And yeah, guys, like, this is where the kind of Hegelian dialectic stuff comes in, and politics. And look, my understanding of the world hasn't changed. I recognize that white people are like going out of existence. I don't know if you're even allowed to say that on YouTube. It's a fact. They were 33% of the world or they were like 30% of the world population. Now they're 8% of the population. My race is going out of existence. That's just reality. There's no debate to be had. People are like, that's a conspiracy theory. Prove it. Well, here they're 30% of the world population, and then over here they're 8% of the world. And let's not forget that the left gets outraged too. Everybody does. That's what politics is just outrage. You're allowed to understand what's happening in the world, but politics is very base, and it's just a bunch of people being outraged, bro. And for you to walk this path of initiation, you have to be in the world, but not of it. It's worldly, man. And I think the hardest part is conveying to right-wingers that you're not giving up, you're not letting people trample you, you're not being weak, you're not betraying anybody. It's just realizing that this is all just kind of temporary bullshit, bro. And another book that I'm reading made a very powerful point that resonates with me, that all the initiatory systems, all of the true initiatory systems are non-dual. And I think Advaita Vedanta is just kind of like the best base understanding of non-dualism. Because even though I'm beginning to identify as like a Christian mystic, because I think Christ is the ultimate teacher, I think a lot of just like the base root teachings for some of these occult concepts is like Eastern stuff. And I went over that in my video on the occult. Like, there's the Western esoteric tradition, where that's like a lot of secret societies. But the Eastern esoteric tradition is just like yoga, Advaita Vedanta, Tantra. It's just like Eastern stuff that doesn't really have that like secret society feel to it. But the basics of Advaita Vedanta is just, and again, this is something that's in everybody's face all the time. You've heard it a million times. I am one with the universe. We're all one. Everything is one. And it's like, dude, you're insane, or that's not deep, or I heard that on like a cereal commercial, like Tony the Tiger said that. That's the thing. The occult knowledge is everywhere. It's just like you have to understand it. And that's where the gnosis comes in. The understanding. You are the Atman, your soul is Atman, and then existence is Brahman. Advaita Vedanta is just seeking the knowledge that Brahman and Atman are one. Everything is one. And I had this moment when I wanted to originally make this video where I was starting to like feel like I had some big realization, bro. And it's like trying to make some sense of it that takes that to anywhere that means anything to anybody is like when you're arguing with AI online or bot farms or people who are paid to argue with you or just people who just genuinely want to argue. That's all that exists, Stoic. Nobody gets paid to do it. You take your meds, like whatever. Whoever you're arguing with, you're not really arguing with anybody. You're just arguing with yourself because everything's one. And it's like everything is one is the same as it's all an illusion. So it's like, you know, it's a simulated reality, simulation. I am all that there is. Solipsism. Illusion, simulation, solipsism. It's just like, it's all a waste of time. Whenever you get worked up, the bottom line is that when you get worked up, when you get angry, you're losing. You are moving away from initiation. And when I was first getting back into Rosicrucian stuff, I was bringing up some of these points. I was kind of getting introduced to some of these ideas a couple of years ago in Kodiak when I was starting to kind of flirt with the Rosicrucian stuff. Well, that's all relevant. That's in the similar ballpark of what I'm saying. This book puts a big emphasis on anger. Like, anger is bad. Getting angry at all is like the opposite of working towards initiation. It is anchoring you down in the world. It's hurting you. It's going to make you do something stupid. It's going to make you react because it starts with emotions and feeling a certain kind of way. And then when you're like this, you do something stupid. Duh! And then that might have more repercussions. And I've experienced that. I felt a certain kind of way, and then I said things, and then those things echoed out into the world, and there was repercussions, and this is all just basic shit. This is all just like real life. Like, yeah, Stoic, when you do something, things happen, and there's repercussions. Well, the first step is you just stop getting angry, stop having conflicts, just stop fucking doing everything. That's something that my grandpa told me on my mom's side. His dad never talked to him for the most part. And one day, he pulled him aside, and he had this, like, angry aura about him. And he's like, son, whatever it is you want to do, just don't. Whatever you think, whatever you're going to do, just don't. That's all he ever said to him, is just don't. And it's like, you know, my mom's side of the family has always been kind of like, my dad is a big family, my mom is a big family. My mom's side of the family we've always seen as like a little bit strange, but that's the John Adams side of the family, man. That's both my families are cool, but over time I started to realize there's a lot of wisdom in that side of the family. Anyway, this video was difficult to make, guys. I did the best I could possibly do. A lot of this, you guys, if you're interested in this, if you're interested in seeking the real initiation, you're just going to have to do it for yourself. So, a few things on top of that. One thing that this book added is, like, you should start changing your clothes more. I think if you just bought, like, a bunch of cheap sweatpants or a bunch of track pants, a bunch of, like, packs of white t-shirts, like, change your clothes throughout the day. Taking showers multiple times a day isn't actually, like, good for you. But, you know, shower every day. If you're at a point where it's like, you know, you're not dirty enough to take a shower, but just change your clothes. It's like, change your clothes more often. If anything, it just kind of like represents a light, kind of a purity. Watch your diet, you know, cut out the processed food. Basics, like I said, stuff that I already knew, stuff that I was already doing. What I realized from this first degree of this book was like, I've already been living this for a long time. I've already been doing this, but this is really good the way they summarized it, and it's given me a couple of little tweaks, and then I have the big revelation that's like, bro, it's not about like doing some weird meditation and imagining a white light. This is it. Like the way that where you put your attention, what you think about, what's on your mind right now. It's like you should be accountable. You should have like a prison guard that's monitoring your mind all day. And when you're angry, when you're this, when you're that, you're fucking up. It starts out with just emptying yourself, making room for something better. And that thing would be God. This higher presence, this reintegration is like reintegrating with the mind of God. Getting rid of your bullshit. Well, let's be real. It's like video games and pornography and chia pets and television and shitty like right-wing talking points or left-wing talking points. Who you are isn't really that great, bruh. It's not really that great. And it's a process. And it's like you empty yourself out. You stop taking the bait. Everything is bait. Honestly, guys, it's hard to post on X at all in any kind of an enlightened way. I'm going to just do my thing. I'm probably going to keep quoting stuff and calling it bait and talking about how stupid, like when anytime somebody says natural selection is. Honestly, bro, it was either Dylan or Eric, like the first school shooters from Columbine. One of them was all obsessed with the idea of natural selection, and they had a natural selection t-shirt on. I think I'm going to start bringing that up and call it, you're probably a school shooter, dude. And give them a piece of their own medicine. But that's taking the bait, and that's getting angry, and that's having conflicts, and that's having problems. And what happens, what happens, guys, is that when you start clearing things out, when you stop taking the bait, when you eat healthier, when you start walking this path, when you start emptying yourself out, doing more meditation, you start, this just happened to me this week. It's like, for like a day and a half, you're like, whoa, I'm starting to feel it. I'm starting to understand things. I'm starting to have insight on certain things like non-duality that I didn't before. But then all of a sudden, you have a really shitty day, and you take some bait, and you eat something stupid, and you drink a bunch of caffeine in the middle of the day. It's like, wait a minute, and it's gone. And now I think, oh, that video's stupid, and what was I even thinking? And something doesn't want you to wake up, bro. Like I said, I don't know if it's the Archons, or if it's God, or the Demiurge, or if like the CIA is always monitoring everybody, and you're all connected to some sort of a fucking cloud, and they try to keep you from waking up because they work for the Archons, who work for the Demiurge. I don't know, bro. It's interesting how on the path toward initiation, it's like there's room for this Gnostic, Archon, Demiurge element. I don't know if it's true for a fact, and definitely it's not the Most High, and that's where I think these people have a very dark belief and get paranoid. When they talk about like a Most High, as if that's evil, like the ultimate creation of all existence is evil, that's really dark and misled, bro. Like, the God that I'm talking about, that you're emptying your mind out for, is good, is a benevolent God. But the reason that there's just room for this Archon kind of stuff, and it clicks and it makes sense, is because you will start to be tested. And I feel like on one hand, it's like God is testing you, and there's different ways you could look at it. It's like, ultimately, it's helping you. Ultimately, everything bad in your life is helping you. Like, everything that's ever happened to me that I complained about has kind of just led me down this path to initiation. But at the same time, something really doesn't want you to wake up, bro. I don't know. I'm not an expert. Maybe it's just all God. And then maybe God is like using these things that really don't want you to wake up as tools in the higher purpose. But the point is, and this book said it would happen. I read this first degree, and I was like, I've already been doing that. I'm pretty much already going down this path of initiation. Move on to the second degree. Second degree says you got to stop masturbating. Oh, that's where I left off. That's where I've been stuck for a long time. But it said that when you're checking all the boxes and doing everything right, that's when tests start to happen. That's because it's like life is a secret society. You know, rather than like your Freemason brothers or people in your whatever Rosicrucian cult or whatever, like following you around and trying to do shit to initiate you, it's like the ultimate temple, dude. Life is like the ultimate temple. It's like the ultimate cult. The world is just one great big cult, bro. But anyway, you'll start to be tested. Things will just start to happen in your life, and like you could be a player in it. You could be your own worst enemy. It's like, oh, I have to drink a bunch of caffeine in the middle of the day, and oh, I'm gonna like go on a porn bender, and wow, my brain's fucking fried all of a sudden. Like I was doing good, and now my brain's fried, and now I'm developing carpal tunnel, and why did all that just happen? It's like, because you're a fucking idiot. And like, no, you're not initiated. You don't get it. Life will just happen, dude. You'll get a taste of this initiation, and there's people who have been there before, and the sad thing to think about is like when the tests happen and when you get dragged down, when you have some bad days and you take some bait, it's like it was all a dream, and then you just get sucked back into the world again, and then it's gone. It reminds me of quitting weed, bro. It's like there was a couple of times when I fell off and, you know, smoked weed for like a week, but it was like I had this knowledge. It's like, bro, you're not gonna like smoke weed every day for 5 years straight again. That's not happening. We're gonna quit. It's gonna be an annoying couple of days, but we're done. We're done with this. And that's like the initiation. You're gonna have some mistakes. You're gonna get in some arguments. You're gonna get worked up still, but you're gonna be like, no, man, I know there's something better than this. I know that, like, I'm fucking up, but I can just, like, you know, I watched this guy on YouTube who's, he lost, like, 100 pounds or some shit in a year, and then he gained 30 pounds back. It's like, okay, it backslid a little bit, but then he lost another 20 pounds, and he's getting back to where he was. And just, eventually, you get back to where you were, and then you just stop taking the bait, and you stop fucking up. And then as that goes on, I've learned of the 3 asceticisms. We know the first 2, fasting, not eating, not cooming, everybody knows that one, and then not sleeping. That one kind of took me off guard. It's like, oh, are you serious, bro? Like, but that's not even healthy, you know? It's like, it seems like it's kind of good to not coom. It's good to not eat sometimes, but that's another one, man, and they call it like the vigil or the prayer vigil, and I don't know about that one, bro. You know? Maybe I already did that. When I played whatever that farming game is, Harvest Moon, that was the first time I ever stayed up all night. I pulled a lot of all-nighters in my 20s, dude. But, yeah, I'm starting to think it's time for a fast. Brian Shaw has developed a friendship with Devin Lorette, arm wrestler Devin Lorette, and strongman Brian Shaw. Both of them just documented their 6-day fasts. These are like 350-pound men not eating for 6 days straight, bro. If they can do it, anybody can do it. Like that. I found that hugely inspirational, bro. So I don't know if I'm going to start with that many days, but, you know, look up like the electrolytes. You put a little pink salt in your water, some no salt, which is pure potassium. That's all you really need, but you can put like magnesium or whatever, and then just pound a couple of those electrolyte waters. But that's about as best as I can do for here now, guys. I think I covered the basics. Your attention is everything. The knowledge of self. The knowledge of self comes from clearing everything out, because most of yourself is bullshit from the world. You can't be angry. There's no use to be in conflicts with people, because there is this higher truth to the non-dual reality. And it's like solipsism or a simulation or an illusion, the illusion of Maya. What you should get out of non-dualism, Advaita Vedanta, there's a lot that you should get out of it. I'm to a point where it's like, okay, let's find like a really good book on this. But what you should get out of it is like everything with your emotions, everything with erratic emotions is just a waste of time. And the first one that seems to be on the docket right now is anger. Rage bait is everywhere. And I just have these moments where it's like, whoa, dude, like, X is actually Loosh Farm. This is actually, like, infinite fucking rage. And right-wing Christians, like MAGA peds, the people that were manufactured ever since Trump's first presidency, these people are getting fucking played right now, dude. The elites got you on strings and like they're the puppet masters, and okay, time for you to get angry about Jimmy Kimmel. Oh, yay, Jimmy Kimmel got fired. Oh no, Jimmy Kimmel got his job back. This is an outrage. I can't believe what they said. They had the fuck Charlie Kirk sign. It's like, dude, it's disturbing. It's like in Aladdin when Jafar, like, has the Sultan all fucking chained up, and Iago's like force feeding him crackers. It's like, holy shit, dude. They are just completely mind fucking right wingers right now, dude. And Christians. And without this higher, dare I say it, occult, initiatic knowledge, you are not gonna fucking make it, dude. You're a fucking meme. You're gonna be raged and angry all day, and you're like, you're a traitor, Stoic, I'm saving the white race. No, you're not, bro. You're actually dying. You're actually going insane, and it's almost like I'm almost putting it together right now. It's like, holy shit, dude. All these people who think that they're saving the white race are actually dying, and it's actually what's killing the white race, dude. So all these things, like, I gotta figure out how to move away from a bunch of idiots, and I gotta figure out how to start a family and get married. Like, the best possible way you could do that, bro, is from just unplugging from all this shit. I've watched the internet start off as something kind of cool to a complete fucking mind totalitarian fuck matrix, bro. Of pornography, and yeah, everybody knows, like, the most beautiful women all become influencers or whatever, and then they bombard you with their booty pictures and cleavage shots, and they're unattainable, and dude, the internet's trash. Everything about the internet is trash. What I'm trying to do is, like, read multiple books, so when I'm done with one book, go to another book, then have an audio book, so you can kind of mix it up and keep it fresh. And then, if you want to watch a movie, just go watch the movie. Don't doom scroll. What you don't want to do is doom scroll, like, oh, what's happening on Twitter? Like, what's happening on YouTube? Like, dude, holy fuck, the internet is so evil and fucked. Holy shit, dude. And, like, I've had these moments where Facebook is, like, more coomer than Instagram. All of a sudden, it's like, it's your fault, Stoic, because you trained the algorithm because of what you clicked on. It's all your fault. Like, and the gaslighting is built right fucking in, dude. Oh, it's actually your fault. Like, it's so evil, dude. It's so fucking evil. And I was like, Facebook is what ruined my life. I look at Facebook as a 34-year-old man now. I'm like, this is how I lost all my friends. This is what plunged me into isolation. And look at it. It's showing you big fucking booty hot girls. This is all it is. It's just another smut peddler. And I used to dump my feelings and emotions into it. And it started arguments, and it drove me away from everyone I ever knew. And make no mistake, like, as you walk the narrow path toward isolation, it's like when you have 5 minutes to escape in a Final Fantasy game. Like, every Final Fantasy game has at least one escape segment. In Final Fantasy VII, it's right in the beginning. The one in Final Fantasy V is a pain in the ass, where, like, you're exiting a castle trying to get the treasure, and then there's a boss battle at the end. Anyway, as you walk this path toward initiation, don't look back, bro, because, yeah, there's a time limit, and there's fire behind you, and if you fail, I think that this whole post-Charlie Kirk world, if January 6th was a house, the post-Charlie Kirk world is like a camper. The whole fucking world is like a giant January 6th honeypot. Like, they learned something from January 6th, and then they turned the entire world into a January 6th, dude. They want right-wingers to fucking spurg out, dude. At some point, MAGA-peds are gonna be like, oh, I'm fucking saving the white race. And they're all gonna fucking go to jail, and they're all gonna die, and that's what's coming, dude. Not the rapture. And Christians have just been mocked because the Christians thought it's gonna be the rapture, so that's why we're passing this bill that Christians have to fucking die. Like, crazy shit's about to happen, dude. You want my latest prediction for the world? Charlie Kirk dying has initiated us into insano, upside downtown, fucking Looney Tunes world. Like, oh, I wonder what's going on the internet today. Ass, 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 booty, 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 booty. Don't sexualize me. Charlie Kirk. Life is over. Life is over, guys. We knew that a long time ago. You watch a video from me 5 years ago, pull up one of my random live streams, it's over! We figured that out a long time ago. Life, as we know it, is over. Oh, but I gotta get the degrees, and I gotta get the wife, and I gotta get the... Like, maybe you'll get that, maybe you won't, dude. It doesn't matter. This is all Maya. This is all fucking illusion. This is all Brahman. You're Atman, and you're one with all of this. You're a part of all of this. And everything that is bullshit and titty streamers and rage bait is nothing. That stuff is all fucking nothing. That's just an illusion. You are something, but not when you're taking rage bait, not when there's clips of you on YouTube like spurging out about something stupid that is embarrassing. Like, that's all nothing. Everything that's stupid is nothing. It's an illusion that wastes your time. So it's like, what isn't a stupid waste of time inside of me, dude? And it starts by just clearing out everything, meditating, fasting. Don't worry about the nofap. If you can do it, great. Eventually, you're going to have to get there. But it starts with just like silence. The silence is very important. The attention is very important. The knowledge of self. And I feel like it's so related to Advaita Vedanta. And like, that's what I was looking for in this other book that I'm reading. It's like, if they say something about non-dualism and Advaita Vedanta, I might have to go fucking get this initiation. And they did. They said that all initiatic systems are non-dual. All the real ones. And it's like, yeah. I don't even fully understand it yet. But what I'm saying in this video is my understanding of it, guys. And it's a long one. But that's what I got for you, man. There's layers of over. There's layers. It was over in like 2014, dude. Like me, I'm this kind of new archetypal figure. There's an archetype of the Reformed Stoic at this point. I feel like I'm kind of a representation of a modern struggle. That's how I've made the content on my channel. It comes from an understanding that I've had intuitively that other people are going through what I've gone through. And I believe that this struggle can potentially lead to initiation, guys. But you look at these points in my life, and it's kind of this blueprint of like the archetype of the chud, basically. And it's like, I lost all my friends around 2014, 2015. It was over. It was because it was over already, way back then. And it just kept getting more and more and more over. And it's like, and my life just kept getting worse and worse and worse and worse. Like, how much worse can it get than losing all your friends and getting isolated? How about getting fucking gang stalked for 5 years? You know? Like, it just keeps fucking getting worse. It just kept getting worse. And then it's like, oh, this is a fucking louche mindfuck simulation. Like, none of this matters. A lot of these people are just like NPCs, Hylics. They're not even fucking real. And I don't know if anything outside of my mind is real. All that I know is that I am. I think that there's other minds, but I can't be sure. You really can't. You really can't be sure that there's other minds. This whole and fucking entire thing could just be for you. And I think, what I think is that it is for multiple people simultaneously. Like somehow we're all playing our own little mini game inside of this matrix, dude. And at some point, you have to just stop taking the bait. So, go to my Twitter and read some of my tweets. I think, like, the tweets that I've had over the last week are kind of related to this. And they don't get any attention. It's not about getting attention. I don't give a shit if you share it or like it or follow me or whatever. But it's related to this video, bro. Like, the rants that I've had about how things are bait and explaining how things are specific bait, it's all bait, bro. You're not saving the white race by getting angry. None of that's helping you, dude. You're actually, this is the first step to doing what I just said. To saving yourself, to saving anybody who matters, to having any sort of an impact in the world, bro. God bless you, and I'll see you for the next one. Peace out.